Also, KEWASCO has been claiming that the current government is not supporting them. We need that factual information so that we can now verify and know the truth.
Thank you, Honorable Waziri. Continue and also address the concern raised by Honorable Member.
Thank you. I will do so. So we have factual information and evidence of the subsidies provided. Now, subsidies, well, from the perspective of staff, they view the subsidy as the salary component. But as remember, there's other aspects. So we subsidize the cost of bulk water, we subsidize electricity, we subsidize, and we have in the last month.
Now on that, there is a clear thing that there was a merger, and during the merger there was an agreement between the county government and KEWASCO, and there were specifics that you see county government should subsidize the rural part on salaries and bulk water and electricity. And as we talk now, for example in Londiani, there is no water, not because of the breakages, but because of electricity. And that is the aspect now when we ask these ways that the county government has not paid. So there is a role that you are playing in the agreement. Kindly, you can substantiate that one.
Yeah. So, Chairman, thank you. I think that it's true. It hasn't been easy to pay all the subsidies that we signed in the subsidy support agreement. What was agreed is that we would pay electricity and we would pay for bulk water. Now, bulk water from Bomet is almost, I'm told, 80%. I'll verify the exact amount of the overall billings for rural water. And so this is our key expense when it comes to subsidizing for bulk water. And every year since 2013, we have paid a subsidy for bulk water, and we have evidence and verifiable data on this. When it comes to electricity, I can see that out of the 10 years from 2013 to 2024, we have paid electricity for rural schemes for 8 out of the 10 months, 10 years, excuse me. 8 out of the 10 years we've paid for electricity. And this is something which is not contested. It's always paid. However, the question is, can we improve the timeliness of the electricity payments? For example, right now, we cannot pay the electricity bill until the system opens, I think in maybe a week or two, because this is under our recurrent. And but then when it comes to Bomet Itare, we have a payment which we must make of at least 5 million, 15 million, but that will come with development. And so that will take, I think, October before it opens. So in the interim, when you don't have an ability to pay, the disconnection happens. We are looking forward to a situation where the management, especially for the 80% of our rural schemes that rely on Itare, that we will be able to ensure that what we're paying is, billed and is paid is a very fair and transparent payment if we have an updated management structure for Itare water supply. So the other aspect of subsidy, and I think this is important, just on the issue of subsidy, Chairman, if you don't mind.
The issue of the Itare, I remember very well that there is a time that we pay for the electricity bill, worth 10 million. And after paying 10 million, they supply us with water for almost 3 days. And they also cut it off. Now, when we say we have a pending or arrears of 15 million, for which services have they rendered? Because we should account also for this money. Because for long, they brought people. They don't have water. So when we say we have arrears of 15 million to pay to Itare, for what reasons. Because since then, they have arrears of almost 18 months. Remember that at the time we pay 5 million, which means they are in arrears now of almost 13 or 14 months after paying the 5 million to their salaries. And during the Masuja day, we pay at around 10 million for the electricity bill in Bomet. And since then, they have not supplied us with water. How can you account for this 15 million? We are saying we are in arrears. Because how sure are you that the Bomet people, they meter their water, or we are carrying their burden, of which it is not supposed to be costing Kericho County. So I'm not in an agreement unless it is proof that when we pay this is what we collected also from the other side. Because if they could have been getting water, they could have been at a point of even paying their salaries for the water supplied to Pureti. So if we are losing water, we are losing also money, then we are not working on the same page. So kindly clarify this 15 million we are in arrears is for what purpose?
In line with that, with the payment to Bomet. Now, there is the Bomet which you need to pay, but now we were also told that Bomet, you owe Bomet 15 million, and Bomet owes you 45 million. I don't know whether it's true. And the question is, why don't you net off? Because if Bomet have more money that belongs to Kericho County, why don't you say pay us, deduct the balance that you need, and then pay us back the remainder? Or why can they utilize? You pay in future, you pay ahead or in forward, because they have a lot of money than they owe you. Again, I heard that in that discussion between Bomet and Kericho County, that the meeting never took off. This is an issue between the two counties. I would like to know from you, what action have you taken, including even consult the given council of governors and the rest, and even people who can bring in, or even going to court? Because there are issues of seeking for the truth and also recovering what belongs to you. Why do you want to leave people suffer because of that? Again, the issue of KPLC. We cannot just sit there and wait for things to happen. Because Kenya Power is in this country. And now you are denying the people of Londiani to get water simply because you are not acting somewhere. What have you done to even discuss with Kenya Power to agree to wait and then even wait for the payments in future? Because currently, people have not been getting water for the last 3 months. I'm talking about where I know. What about the other places? So you should be having mechanisms of handling such kind of scenarios so that we don't have people to suffer.
Members, let's give a chance to Aziri to respond. So Aziri will respond precisely so that we make progress.
So I think I'll begin with the question about the last mile project in Sedatut, and for that I will invite an update. I visited the last mile project and I've seen it, but I'd like to ask our director if he has any update on the 12 million, some clarification on that project.
No, I don't have the route here. Maybe we need to confirm, because I remember you went and signed the agreement in Nairobi. It was supposed to be funded through KEWASCO.
So just to be clear, JICA have supported last mile connectivity in Ainamoy and in Belgut. And I don't want to say the exact amount. I know that it was roughly, total altogether, I think roughly 30 million. And between the two, I think 18 million and 12 million, Ainamoy and Belgut. So I can hear from the honorable member some frustration on the project and whether there's transparency in the implementation of the project. But I think I would like to say that we will do a separate report on this. I don't think I'm prepared to answer your concerns and to understand them properly, but to make sure that we have accountability when it comes to our projects. I'm very committed to that and transparency, and we don't take lightly any reports on misappropriation. That is serious. Yeah.
Chairman, the reason why I'm asking is that there are some of the projects that are ongoing that there was no even consultation on to whether they are going to be productive or not. You know, I was got by surprise other lines that I'm not even conversant of. And that is the reason as to why I want them probably to either confirm if really those things have any value for money, and if really there should have been consultation. So it's good to be very honest, and that's why I've always been asking this issue, Chairman. It's good that they confirm whether the 12 million or the 20 million that were given as a grant to either KEWASCO or to the county government, and if really that amount is actually we are going to get value for money. So you see, Madam Waziri and the director, I need things that I know. You know, I've been here for now close to 8 years. Therefore, consultation means concurrence. So going forward, Chairman, as they conclude, probably then we will actually sort them out. But it's good that you confirm to this committee whether the same funds has been used or not. That is something that I wanted to confirm. So the other plans can go on separately. Thank you, Chairman.
Waziri, maybe you can, for us to make progress, you can respond to what the honorable member said, so that just shortly, so that we make progress. Kindly.
It looks like my director also wanted to say something on the project. He was directly involved, so I think he can also shed some light.
Now, there are two projects which were supposed to be done by JICA through KEWASCO, through a grant. So one they did it in Inamoy, and one they are supposed to do from Serotit all the way to TTI. They have not released the money. It is not going to come through the department. It is being released through KEWASCO. And KEWASCO will advertise the way they did Inamoy and captivate the area. Actually, there are three. So once they do that, we'll be in a position to be involved. And they'll come to the ground for public participation, even before the launching and commissioning. Maybe, Chair, I could ask to say something on these ITARE supplies, which was zero on subsidy. Now, through the Chair, what have we been doing as a department and in subsidy to ITARE or to KEWASCO? What we have been doing is that we have been paying bulk water as per the agreement, which we have in that agreement. We don't actually pay Kenya Power. We actually transmit money to POMET. And POMET transmit money to wherever they wish. And that is an area that we have been having. If you look at the MOU, which we discussed in Kisumu in 2022, in presence of the two governors, Governor POMET and the former governor here, there are several things which we had in that MOU. And it will be very important as a committee, through the chair, that you dissect that MOU, look at what happened with that MOU. We are looking at options on how to ensure that there is always water in Bureti. And we are looking at who is manage the production. Will we keep to POMET? Will we keep to Gerijo? Will we keep to the agency? And we are driving slowly, and we say the only person that will be neutral to supply us water, Gerijo and POMET, will be the agency. And an agreement, an MOU was signed between the two counties. And then when there was an election, there was need to review the MOU to reflect into that. Because from the MOU, Gerijo County was supposed to install the 2 pump sets. because the system, the pumping schemes, efficiency was below 34%. In November 2022, I took to His Excellency the Governor, and he approved, and we installed 2 pump sets, new, in Itare, as Kericho County. We actually honored our agreement. And in December, the entire areas of Pureti, there was a supply of water after the installation of the 2 pumps. Recently, early last year or late last year, Lake Victoria installed the other 5. So in other words, we have the entire system, the pumping system, efficient. So the issue that we had also was, can we have separation of meters? So that when you don't pay for your electricity, it is your line which is disconnected. And those are the areas that we are saying, then how do we reach here? We said we need to involve the political leadership, water committee in assembly, and the leadership, and we get comment. And we agree on how to work on separation of meters. I think that is the input, was it? I just wanted to bring. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Maybe what I want to request is, Waziri, there is very important things that maybe you have mentioned, even engineer, you have mentioned very important aspects that maybe, because we are looking for a solution to heal KEWASCO. Now, there is the issue of MOU, and the MOU now came up. I have never heard about MOU until now when you mentioned. We need to see the details of MOU, and you can furnish us with that information. Number 2, we need to also look at the agreements that we have been talking about, bulk water agreement, electricity agreement. We need that agreement to be produced so that we can understand the details, be interpreted, and then we will adhere to it. Again, touching on the issue of the donors, it is very important that anything that comes to KEWASCO comes to Kericho County and should be accounted for. And it is to the benefit of the people of Kericho County. It is also important for us to know how many donors have we had. Maybe, I know that question will be not directly to you, but through the board that you sit in, we get the information of all the donors. How much has the donor funded KEWASCO? How much has it been received? Maybe in kind, in assets, and all other things, because if that is part of donation that should be captured and be accounted for within KEWASCO. Because if you receive money, for example, from a well-wisher who wants to support the people of Kericho County to do a tank, for example, and it is not accounted for, then what will we call that? So we need to get that as shareholders. You get those information. It will be very important to us. Again, there was the issue of the donor, the main donor of KW, is it KFW? Now that we don't have the board and the staff on strike, and I heard they are supposed to come and meet, how now will we handle that situation? Because a donor will not fund where there is chaos.
Yes, as we can continue. I think we've captured.
Chair, before they respond, there's something that Mitei trying to elaborate. Have you started any initiation concerning the same between Kericho and Bomet? Because I'm seeing we are losing a lot. Maybe way forward is that, is there a way we can drill water for Kapkatet? Because the main place that we need to supply water is because of Kapkatet Hospital and maybe Litain. Is there a way that we can drill water to provide, as we are looking for a lasting solution? Because we are losing a lot of money, which is not equivalent to services that we are getting from this Itare.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Azir. We can address the concerns by the honorable members, and then we'll have another round of questions. And then as we continue, you'll provide us with a copy of the rights of the shareholder in Kericho, in KEWASCO.
So regarding the donor funds for KEWASCO, I think this at present should not be your worry, because when the design of the project for these large projects there's a lot of oversight on the execution and the hiring of consultants and the supervision of the consultants, both for the KFW, but also in the design of the JICA project. I don't think that there'll be cause for alarm in terms of value for money. So I think that's an important thing. The number of donors, I know we have quite a few donors working with KEWASCO, and we usually, as a board, receive updates on the projects that are being funded by donors, the ones that are ongoing, the ones as they're being completed, and I think that that has not been a problem so far. There was a question on why do we not balance off the payment with what Bomet owes us, because part of Itare comes back to Kericho and then they sell the water. So that the question of balancing off the payments is something that we have discussed with KEWASCO, with Bomet. And it's so far, there hasn't been a resolution on this issue. But we did speak with the Water Services Regulatory Board and the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Korir, on the agreement to put in place this bulk water service agreement with Lake Victoria South, playing a management role overall, and because they've done it elsewhere in the country. So this is not an isolated proposal. So the idea that we would have Lake Victoria South playing a management role for Itare intake is something that we have discussed with the PS, and I think he has expressed his commitment to overseeing a resolution of this. So in terms of groundwater in Kapkatet, I think that we've tried it before. It's not been very successful, but I would leave that to the engineer to speak to and advise on the options for groundwater. But the truth of the matter is that Itare is the best solution from a technical perspective to serve the people of Bureti, and we need to get the management of that right as we continue to put investment in that project to expand the treatment works, to expand the delivery systems. It is still the best option when we've looked at multiple options. We're not saying there's no other option. And in fact, we might look for short-term solutions, as we've been discussing with His Excellency the Governor and with the technical team, as this bigger project rolls out and we get the management in place. Over to you.
Thank you, Waziri. As Waziri has put it, groundwater is a challenge in Bureti, and we have tried in the past and we have not succeeded. But as Waziri has put it, as at now, the best option, as Waziri has put it, is Itare water supply. That is the best option. We have the infrastructure, we have the land. That is why I was with Waziri when we did the negotiation with KFW in Naivasha for 1 week. And one of the conditions which was missing out of 7 was acquisition of land for KFW to agree to give us 1.8 billion. As we talk now, we have the title for the parcel, which is ready now, which we wanted to have it in place. It will now sort out water for Bureti, because they have a component of water supply and expansion, a dedicated line of 13.5 kilometers, and another masonry tank to serve Bureti. That will be a score. So the issue of governance and administration, since it is within the county and it is within the leadership, we can sit and sort it out and have the board in place and allow KFW to move very fast, because this is the money that they are ready to give us. Thank you, Waziri.
Thank you. I just want to also say to the question of the unrest in KEWASCO and the presence of the board. In fact, we have been in discussion with KFW, and one of the milestone deliverables is having the board in place. So they knew and they acknowledged when we advertised, they knew when we were in the process of the interviews, and they know that we are very soon coming to a close in the process. If it was an easy process that we handpick people and appoint them, it would have been done overnight. But the process needs to be transparent and responding to the needs of all stakeholders. So as that was one condition, having the land, and the other condition was having the board in place. So we hope that now that there is a real and concrete plan to have the board in place by the end of the month, we can negotiate with the trade union to accept to return to work and resume their operations and not push for any other changes until the board is in place, because we have to follow the law in terms of the way any changes are made in the governance of KEWASCO.
Thank you, Waziri. I hope that one is done as soon as possible. That is the engaging with the staff to resume work, because one also from the donors, the donor funding, it's very important at this point in time that we normalizes the process, the working environment, so that we restore confidence even to the donors because of these projects. So let me give to this Honorable Bett for the next round of questions. You have?
Yes, there's the question of KPLC. Can we sit and, are we just sitting and waiting for KPLC? Last month we had a meeting with the Council of Governors, and we asked them about the cost of electricity for water systems and asked whether they could provide a subsidy, as they've done in other sectors, for water services. And we haven't heard back from them because they treat the cost of electricity, the payment of electricity, as the way they would treat it in your home or in your business. They disconnect. There's no negotiation. And at one point we were concerned that we were being disconnected not only for Retire, but perhaps other commitments of the other county that give us the bulk water. So the concern is, to what extent is our contribution translating to services, as the chairman has mentioned. So we have made an appeal to KPLC, but as it is right now, as long as you're using the services and the power from KPLC, you must pay on time, or they will disconnect. And so I think in the past they've been soft, and then it hasn't been honored. So we need to move to a place where we're much more reliable when it comes to these primary services for people of Kericho. When it comes to things like water and electricity, we really need to prioritize them in our budget.
Thank you so much, Waziri. Let me bring you back to the question of governance at KEWASCO. And I have a series of questions, but the first question is about, you've told us that the new board will be in place by 27th of August this month. So does it mean that you have the names already? And so if that is the case, because the question of governance, do we have the right people? Because why I'm asking so is because you told us rightfully from the beginning that when you told the board that expired of the need to review the terms of reference for the management and the MD, they didn't agree with you. So me, I'm looking forward to not going to the same problem we got before. So my question would be, are you confident that the new board that will be coming on board from 27th is the right board that will really deliver for the people of Kericho? Because KEWASCO right now is on its knees, and therefore any slip, if we can get it right with the new board coming on board, then KEWASCO can be forgotten once and for all. My second question is on the issue of the relationship between the management and the union and the staff who are under union. And also, why I'm asking this question is because now there's a standoff between the MD. I know we have management staff who have resigned, like technical manager, and also the finance and administration manager who has just finished her term. But how do we solve this standoff between the MD? If he stays put, what happens? Because this is a company that is ailing, and we have an MD who is unwilling to leave. What would be the way forward? Because we need to have this KEWASCO reviving, we need to have water, we need to have a company. Remember, you said we are the shareholders. And rightly put, we have a place as a shareholder, on behalf of the people of Kericho County, because you represent the people of Kericho County in that board, and so I'm concerned about the issue of standoff that we have right now. What is the future for KEWASCO with the MD and with everything in place, because we need to have a way forward. So my concern is on those two areas. Please go ahead and answer.
Thank you, Honorable Bet. I think just to confirm that we have identified the board of directors. Do we have the right people? I have a letter here from the Water Services Regulatory Board. We sent them the draft report, and it's the report of the Selection Committee on Kericho Water and Sanitation Company. We refer to the above subject and acknowledge receipt of the report of the Selection Committee shared via your email, 31st July. We wish to confirm that the role of the shareholder in the appointment of directors is to ensure that directors are appointed through an open and competitive process, meet the minimum qualification as stipulated by the Regulatory Board in a bid to ensure that only competent and reliable persons who can add value to the company are appointed. The Regulatory Board, on the other hand, ascertains whether the appointed directors have met the set minimum qualifications as per Regulation 10.2 of the Water Services Regulations and the Corporate Governance Standards 2024. In this regard, WASREB has perused the selection report and confirms as follows. 1, all the directors have met the minimum professional qualifications as stipulated under the Regulation 10 of the Water Services Regulations 2021 and the Corporate Governance Standards 2024. 2, the list of recommended directors has met the requirement of 2/3 gender representation in accordance with Article 27 of the Constitution and Regulation 10 of the Water Services Regulations 2021. There is a proper mix of skills as the directors are appointed from different professional bodies. Lastly, they've just asked us to furnish them with the fit and proper test forms duly filled in line with the provisions of Articles 10 and 2 of the Constitution, Regulations, and Water Services Regulations. So in response to your question, we've gone to great lengths to ensure that we've gotten the best that we could identify from those that applied, from stakeholder groups, and that they will be able, and with the support of various stakeholders, to guide KEWASCO to the next level. To the second question on the relationship between management and the union, we have been trying our best to harmonize and smoothen the relationship between the MD and some of the staff. We have held meetings and made agreements with the union to avoid personalizing the differences that are being raised. Besides the issue of outstanding salaries, there have been a lot of issues that have been raised, and we thought that it's best that the board take action on those recommendations or make a decision on how to move forward to address these issues. I know that it's almost irrevocably devolved, and it's of great concern. So I don't want to make any pronouncement here on the action that should be taken to deal with this relationship. But I think the MD himself will also have a view on this matter. But my view is that the staff should go back to work, and we think that the MD should also consider how he is going to ensure that his presence adds value to KEWASCO and that services are not interrupted. This is a big concern.
Thank you, Asiri. Maybe now, because we are trying to solve this issue of staff on strike, what have you planned? Maybe as now the main shareholder, what have you planned concerning the staff, so that the services, we get back the smooth running of KEWASCO at the moment, especially before the new board is in place, you said by 27th of this month. What plans have you put in place, the measures you've put in place, so that we have the smooth running of services, provision of water, and the rest of the services from KEWASCO?
So the first thing that we have done is that we have stepped in to put in place a service contract to ensure response to any burst leaks on the sewer system. We've negotiated with the union that critical priority infrastructure continues to be manned, secured, and managed. For example, the staff of the water treatment works will continue to operate during the strike. We have purchased chemicals during the interim because chemicals are key to ensuring that the water is safe, that it's clear and has free of any harmful bacteria. So we have put in place a contract to purchase chemicals, and the chemicals will not run out in this period. We have agreed with the core staff that the services will not stop, and that the offices will not be blocked, so that anybody who has a responsibility to work, their safety is assured. And that includes the MD if he needs to access the office, and the commercial manager, the management. They will have to be assured, they are being assured already, that their safety is assured for them to access the office. So now that we have agreed on the process to put the board in place, I believe that in the interim we will put a situation will be in place that the management and the staff initiate their work for the next 1 month. So these are the interim actions that we have done so far.
Thank you, Asiri. So let me give this chance to the Honorable Chairman to also make a point. Yes, Engineer?
Yes, I wanted to add what Asiri has done. The department has come in handy to ensure the services are restored. But I wish to say this through the chair and this committee. Maybe the chair can have it. Through the chair, when we look at from today to 27, and the number of days that we have lost in service delivery and billing even the customers, everybody will be a casualty in all this exercise. Our employees who are parents will not be having salary. So my request through the chair, you could take time, few minutes as a committee and the department, and we call the union so that everybody will have a ceasefire as we wait to 27 and we restore the services. Because 27 is not far when we have the board. Because it will be very critical to ensure that, because I'm not even paying them salaries. If NRW now is 100%, it means not even a single cent was raised. Because the next few weeks, so the committee can take time, an informal meeting with the union and the MD and us as a department through this Wasiri CC. I remember when we sat one day, when they wanted to strike, we had a return to work formula by 4 in the afternoon. So we can have a solution. This county belongs to us, and it belongs to our people, the people we serve. Everybody can listen if we sit together. That is my request.
Thank you very much, Manamite. I think that is a very straight way forward remarks as per the KEWASCO, and of course the staffs are as their conditions, and out of the condition were the management should exit the company. That is to be sincere, the MD. So, but I think having board of management on board, they will still listen, and they need only the assurance on those grievances. So, but that is notwithstanding, maybe I'll also want to ask you, how might does KEWASCO hold the county government in terms of bills, water bills? I don't know whether you have the entire county government, both the executive and the assembly. I don't know whether you have those ones on your records, so that we can have a way forward. So you'll just provide us whether if there is a lot of money, why don't you allow the same government to pay? Of course, those are the monies which can be also utilized to pay the salaries and of course to run the activities of KEWASCO. So you'll briefly give us in terms of the amount the KEWASCO holds the county government and the county assembly. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. As of March 2024, it was 14 million. Then I'm told that the latest figure is 18 million. And as Director Mite has mentioned, we had earlier had a back-to-work formula negotiation with the trade union, and we had seen that this money would make a good pot to draw from to pay some of the outstanding salaries for the rural staff. Of course, part of that money is for its operations as well. So the extent that we can balance all the commitments is critical. So we're seeing roughly an amount of 18 million, and we've sent a memo, internal memo to our CC Finance to coordinate and mop up these outstanding bills so that we can have an amount that can support KEWASCO moving forward. So that is an action that we've already taken.
So meaning, of course, you are also the cause of this fail. And just I agree, because by giving us such figures, Wasiri, meaning it might not be the department as yourself, but the entire county government as a shareholder. You have also let down this company, because we cannot say that what are they using their daily business. You see, of course, they need money. So, of course, on our side, we've let down this company. I agree. And how many figures do we hold the county assembly?
I don't have the disaggregated amount for the assembly. That was a global figure that I understood. I was told that is there, and in fact we've asked for the details of the budget, so of the amount that is outstanding. So I can give that to you.
About the other arms of government, the judiciary, of course, the security. Do you owe them? Does KEWASCO owe something, those entities?
Generally, I think like prisons and so on, they will have bills outstanding. Yes. And it's always a difficult thing. I mean, sometimes quite slow to get payments from government entities. And it's something that we really need to up our game, because we are the main client or customer of KEWASCO. So it makes a big difference if we're able to pay our bills on time.
Okay. Thank you. Honorable Butakema.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I don't know what steps have you taken, Wasiri, because without collecting the revenue, it is contributing to the strike. We find out that in Apan, they have 21,000 meters, but which are active are only 14,000, which means they are missing 7,000. In the rural, they have 10,000. Those which are active is 6,000, missing 4,000. So 4,000 plus 7,000 makes 11,000 meters, which are not active. And how much could have generated in terms of revenue, which could have been also a solution to their salaries. So what steps and measures that you have taken also as the board to see that all the meters which have been distributed to be active, because it is almost half of all the meters that we have are dormant. Number two, what steps have you taken? Because the new project, we have KEWASCO water project. The standard capacity of production is supposed to be 13 million liters per day. But according to their statement, 6 million is being consumed. So 7 million is unused, which also can assist us. If we can get customers for the 7 million liters, it will assist us in terms of revenue to pay the salaries for these staffs. And what have you taken also in terms of non-water revenue? Because this is a challenge for many years. Instead of reducing the percentage, it is increasing daily. What have you done as the board to see that you reduce the non-revenue water? Because it is going close to 60% now. And we are requesting the county government for a subsidy. And this is a project that can run by itself, sustain itself. For how long will we continue to do a subsidy to a project worth billions of money, which cannot sustain itself? So we need a solution. Another question is the customer deposit account. Are you aware, as the CEC Water, that they have borrowed money from the customer deposit account to a tune of how much? And what are the steps? Because when you borrow, you must repay. And maybe also the engineer will tell us, because they initiated in the last regime. What was the agreement? Was there a binding and formula on how to repay? And how much has been borrowed, both from the rural and the urban? And according to my understanding, that the customer's deposit account is supposed to be for only customers. It is not supposed to be used for any project or any development. These are the money. When the customer exits, they need to be refunded this amount. If customers will exit today, what will the county government to pay their money? I think those are some of the questions that we need some elaboration. And the way forward, what are some of the resolution for this KEWASCO? We need also the acronym on the merger. What was the acronym? According to some other sources, it says that all the staffs from the call centers, they was not supposed to be moved or transferred to another call center. They were supposed to contribute for their own as the call centers, according to their own revenues. So we need also the signed agreement so that we know the direction on how to handle some other issues. Thank you so much.
Madam Wasiri, you can take your 5 minutes if there are many.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Chairman. Regarding the dormant meter, the dormant connections, this, of course, is a low-hanging fruit. For the rural, people stop paying for water if the water does not come. So one of the most important things that we're seeing when it comes to these dormant connections is making sure that we have a mechanism to ensure that the water that we're promising will be there, because people will often leave these connections if the service is not reliable. So they'll turn to alternative solutions. So a lot of these inactive connections were disconnections. There needs to be motivated staff to go from door to door to engage people once we are sure that we can provide the service, to engage people to reconnect to the service. So this assessment of the nature of the composition of the 14,000 dormant urban and the 6,000 dormant rural, 3,000 dormant rural, 6,000 dormant rural, that number needs to be analyzed, and we need an assessment of this. What have we done in the last few years? We've been doing projects to ensure that the water that we treat is distributed. One of the challenges we have with Dukamoja, it's not a challenge, but one of the opportunities is that the capacity of the treatment works can be used to serve people with pipes. So what we need is intensification of the network. So in the last year, we did quite a few projects worth a total of over 50 million that we spent doing last mile connectivity for KEWASCO. This is outside of the projects that we're doing to develop schemes that we hand over to KEWASCO to continue to provide services. So last mile connectivity has been front and center. Now, until we have more intensified network, the treatment works for Dukamoja will supersede the capacity to distribute. So we need to not only put in place and repair the lines that have been destroyed when roads are built and the old pipes that have become dilapidated, we need to actually expand and intensify the network in the area. So I'm aware that we're not using the water, that the capacity of the treatment works as it can be, and this is something that we're doing moving forward, and we have incentives to do so with the new programs in the department. So when it comes to the question of non-revenue water, we have signed an MOU with the ministry on the issue of non-revenue water across the board, not only for KEWASCO schemes. And we've also included this in the performance contract that we will sign with the board chair, who will then cascade it to the staff of KEWASCO. So it's true that as we give these subsidies, if we're losing half of what we produce, then it also is meaningless, because the potential for earning revenue from the water we develop is lost. I am aware of this issue of borrowing against the customer deposit. In line with several of the other issues that have been raised, I think this is an aspect that we need to get into, have access to the data and the documents, and think about the system of what we're going to do to repay it. I think it's at the heart of governance and at the heart of financial planning and management. So for now, we will wait until we have the new board in place to agree on how we will approach this and whether we will be able to implement the assessment that we had put together to do in June last year. The question on the agreement on the merger, we can share with you the agreement on the merger and the conditions that were there, that were included and the 4 areas of subsidy that were outlined. I think it'll be something that we need to look at. One of the things that we're saying is sometimes merging rural and urban makes things better, and sometimes it does not make things better. So our view is there's a need for an assessment on the merger and to see whether we have made the right choice, whether it is sustainable, what it would need to be sustainable, whether we're moving forward with this. And it was a question that we were raising with our nominees. The panel, the selection panel, were engaging the nominees for the board, and they're quite knowledgeable, and we will look forward to doing a technical assessment on whether this is the best way forward or whether we can actually think of a different arrangement for the merger. But as it is right now, we will share the documents of the merger for the committee to look into. I don't know whether, Mete, you have anything to add? No.
I think you have responded to Waziri. Maybe on the customer deposit, I think that could be something that the board, it is within the prerogative of the board to do the firemen, move the funds, approve. So I think when the documents are failed, I think that is the time that we are able to know what really happened. Because at that time, the chief officers were not even the members of the board at that time. So I'm not privy to it.
Thank you. I think after that, Waziri, I would like to give you this juncture to make your closing remarks before we wind up. Can you make your closing remarks? Thank you.
Thank you to the committee, to all the members, and the team that are supporting you. I think what you're doing is extremely valuable. And it's really good that within the Assembly you've done this deep dive. We look forward to continue to work with you as members of the Assembly on the turnaround for KEWASCO. It needs a turnaround, 100%, so that we take the best and we address the worst. On my side, I'm very committed to prioritizing the matters in KEWASCO and ensuring that there's good governance and services that people of Kericho expect and deserve. So we look forward to working in partnership with you, improving the reliability of the subsidies that we have committed to, and also strengthening the management of the utility, both at the level of management and the level of the board. So thank you very much, and I really appreciate your guidance and support.
Thank you very much, Waziri. I want to also appreciate you for your time, and of course to request you to fast track the issue of the board. 27, as it has been said, is barely 3 weeks. So we are hoping by 27 we shall have KEWASCO will be now fully considered in terms of board. So we are looking forward for that day so that we all come and celebrate. But of course, as the committee, we are also going to work extra hard to ensure that before that day we are done with the report and we shall be able to table before this house. And any recommendation you've given us, we just appreciate. And I want to say that thank you very much on behalf of this committee, on behalf of the entire County Assembly. I say thank you. May you have a pleasant day ahead of you and have a good evening. Thank you very much. God bless you. Being no other business, this session stands adjourned until tomorrow morning at 9. Thank you. Any document? Yes.